Hey everyone, on review we have this analog Alien double classic Joe Walsh signature pedal. I do believe this is the first pedal that Joe Walsh has ever put his name to, and he's worked closely with the people at Analog Alien and come up with something called a double classic. What it is a compressor and an overdrive compressor, and they call it a classic amp. It's trying to get the vintage tones that Joe uses in a pedal, and some of the more studio-fied, compressors in a pedal. Let's just have a listen to it. The sound I've got a clean and dirty channel. This is my clean channel on the amp. So what we're going to look at, the compressor first, and we're dealing with the sensitivity, ratio, and output. So if I switch it in, this side is the compressor. Sensitivity. Obviously, the more output pickups you got, the higher output pickups you got, the less you would need of this. So with EMGs, you back it down and compensate by the output. Adding a bit of chorus there. The ratio is how much you want it to squash. So as I turn it down, it squashes less. You get the attack at the front of the note, and as I turn the sensitivity up, it will compress even more. And as we go up, 1 to 1, 10 to 1, you can really hear it squash there. So it depends how much squash you want. It's very reminiscent of more of a compressor you would get in the studio in terms of desk compression or rack compression. It doesn't have the same sort of low-fi-ness that you might get in a stock pedal you might buy something like Boss or MXR or standard compressor pedals. This is sounds a little bit more studio-fied, which is nice. We'll talk about the post and pre thing to do with the compressor in a second, but let's just switch over to our classic amp. I'm still on the clean channel of the amp. No particular settings, got the bass turned down a bit because this kicks out some bass, this pedal. pretty self-explanatory, bass, treble, gain. Let me show you you really can get some beef out of the bass. In fact, it sort of affects the overall gain you get the more bass you put in. Let me turn the gain up a little bit. As you introduce this, turn the output up and really push the front end of the amp. What is quite nice is backing the gain down and using it more as a boost for your dirty channel. So if I switch to the dirty channel of the amp, so with the gain down and clicking it in, which is quite nice. Obviously, you know, as you turn the gain up, you're going to get bags of gain if you've got an already crunchy sounding amp. That's really nice. It's got a real organic sound to it. You know, it's a vintage type distortion, and it's a real balancing act to get it just right with how it works with your amp. Going back to the clean channel, you can do some nice things by combining, like a lot of dual pedals. You can combine. You can push the compressor in front of the dirt, the classic amp side of it, or you can have that first and then the compressor afterwards. And that's what it's about, pre and post. Pre-compressor before the classic amp, or post-compressor. So this kind of works better when you back it down a bit. Let's get there. This is going to have pre, so we're going to push the compressor into the front of the classic amp. So we'll kick it in. Turn the ratio down a bit. Really nice. So without, and with. But what we can also do is put it afterwards. So this, you get sort of a more compressed, dirty sound. So put it post. Turn up the gain a little bit. Really nice. We turn the output, we turn the compressor down, we turn the gain down. And with our dirty channel, really cool. Compressor. Classic amp. Etc. Putting out all the classic Joe Walsh licks here. It's a really nice pedal. It's true bypass, really well made. When you look up close, I don't know if the camera can pick it up, but it actually, not that it's this wise, but it actually sparkles. It's got a sparkly yellow finish, and any pedal that's going to have sparkly yellow on it is going to be doing something. It's going to be a statement on your pedal board. I'm a big fan of Joe Walsh. You know, his track record, his songwriting, his body of work, his voice. I love his voice. Great guitar player, great slide player, great production. He's actually really good at keyboards as well. It's just one hell of a talented guy. And it's great that he's put his name finally to a pedal. Obviously this is brand new out, and he's going to be incorporating this in his new rig. But really like it. Very organic sounding. It can vary depending on what amp you put it in front of. But generally the amps I've tried, I took it home for the weekend. It sounded great with my Marshalls. Today we're putting it through an orange head. But it's just a really nice sounding organic amp. And you've got the added bass and treble vibe as well. This is one pedal that I've found that you can actually take down the bass and it's still got loads of thump. Some very un-Joe Walsh playing there. No, really nice pedal. This is the Analog Alien Double Classic Joe Walsh signature pedal.